did you do it?" She treated them to a tender little sketch of herself in the character of Florence Nightingale, hanging over the truckle-bed of some suffering V.C. "Is that you again, Flo, with that bloody nightlight?" And when at last she was alone, sobbed off her eye-black onto her pillow, because her intolerable conscience had driven her to this tremendous sacrifice, the sacrifice of all the fun and gaiety and luxury of her successful career, in blind atonement for a sin not even of her own commission, a sin, just possibly, not even committed. The next letter also was in a woman's handwriting, a girlish hand, sloping downwards a little at the end of each line. "Sign of depression," said Joseph Higgins to himself, for he read about that only a day or two ago in the Sunday paper. "Another of the nurses, I expect, and doesn't want to come, poor girl." But here he was wrong, for Esther Sanson did very badly want to go to Heron's Park. She stood with the letter in her hand, looking down at her mother and laughing, for Mrs. Sanson was deep in the latest drama of the Heronsford Women's Voluntary Service. "But, Mummy, she couldn't. I mean, not all that baby wool into sailor stockings for going under sea boots. I don't believe a word of it, darling. You're making it up." "On my word of honour, Esther, every spot of it. One pair pale pink and the other pale blue. I couldn't believe my eyes when she showed them to me. 'But Mrs. Huge,' I said to her. 'Not Mrs. Huge, Mummy. Her name couldn't be Mrs. Huge. I promise you, darling. Mrs. Huge, or something exactly like it, anyway. Mrs. Huge,' I said to her." She broke off suddenly, and all the light and laughter went out of her blue eyes. "Who have you been writing to, Esther? Is it the letter to the hospital?" "I've said I'll go as immobile V.A.D., said Esther quickly. "I've said I can't leave Heronsford. I'll only be working at the hospital during the daytime." "There could easily be an air raid in the daytime, Esther. Supposing I were caught up here in a top-floor flat in an air raid, absolutely helpless with my back so ersatz and rotten. Your back's been much better lately, darling. I mean, look how you were able to go out today to the WVS meeting." "Yes, but it's aching dreadfully now in consequence," said Mrs. Sanson, and immediately, with the strange inner magic of the true hypochondriac, blue shadows were painted about her eyes, and her face was all etched into delicate lines of pain. "Really, Esther, I do think, dearest, that you're sacrificing both of us unnecessarily. After all, you're needed here at home." She sat curled up like a kitten on the sofa, watching her daughter from under her long, soft, golden eyelashes, and tried on a little act that never had failed before. "Of course, my darling, if you really want to go." Esther stood very still at the window, staring with unseeing eyes at the lovely Kentish countryside rolled out below her, and for the first time in her life she did not respond. She was 27, tall and too thin, with the narrow feet and slender hands that are supposed to go with good breeding. Not beautiful, but with the pure oval face and lifeless leaf-brown hair of a Madonna, descended from her niche in the wall of some quiet old church, to walk, gentle and reserved, through the tumult of an unfamiliar world. Unused as she was to opposing her mother's will, she knew that here was a matter in which she must make her own decision, and she said at last, slowly turning away from the window, standing with her back to the light, "It's not that I want to go, but I think I should." "But, darling, why?" "Because everybody's doing something, Mummy, and I must do my share. Besides, at least it will give me some sort of training, some sort of, well, I don't know, some sort of a life. If anything were to happen to you, darling, think how lost and helpless I should be. I wouldn't have any money. I wouldn't know anything. I wouldn't know anyone. But with this behind me, and I've always wanted to nurse—" "Oh, well, as to that," said Mrs. Sanson, "you've got a terribly exalted idea of nursing, you know. I mean, it's horrid, really, darling. Honestly, it is. Nothing but dirt and squalor and nasty smells." Since Esther had tenderly nursed her mother through several years of perfect health, there was not very much that she could learn from her on that subject. She merely smiled sadly and said that she would have to risk not liking the work. "I'm not going for pleasure, after all, am I?"